The price of cognitive dissonance and delusion.
Yes, and welcome back to Cognitive Dissonance and Delusion, and the propaganda that we all fell for. Part, we ain't keeping count. But we're going to stay on this train of your Democratic leaders and who they claim they are and who they really are. So let's get back to old Miss Hillary Kount Klinton and her debauchery. And let's see who and what she is versus what she's always claimed and the world has shown who she is. Because trust me, when I find this footage, because I've seen it before, this is what made me look for this. This is how I found this, because I was looking for the footage I remember seeing as a child. And I know it's in the archive somewhere. And when I find it, you best to believe I'm gonna up receipts.
Do you guys want to talk about modern day slavery? Hillary Clinton admitted that she used black prison inmates to staff the governor's mansion. But y'all still think that the Democrats are the party of justice. Well, now they've moved from convict leasing to illegal immigration. They call it compassion. I say it's vote buying, a vote buying scheme that's built on the backs of the poor. They love exploiting individuals. So, when you hear them say things like, well, who's going to pick the berries? Who's gonna mow the lawns? That's not humanitarian. It's elitist plantation talk. I want you guys to watch the full episode of Unshakable with April Chapman over on my YouTube channel. I call it all out. I make it plain. I break it all down. I tell you what convict leasing is. And I give you a modern day example of it. And let's just say it includes some highly prominent Democrats that have been actively engaged in such a practice for a very long time. So click the link in my bio. Go watch the full episode. And if you want, you can come back here and we can fight about it in the comments section. I'll see you in the next one. Do you guys want to talk about modern day slavery?
Yes. Can we have these conversations? Because I've been trying to have these conversations for years, but my peers seem to be afraid.
Sir, the Republicans are trying to blame you for the existence of a small air base at Mena, Arkansas. This base was set up by George Bush and Oliver North and the CIA to help the Iran-Contras. And they brought in plane load after plane load of cocaine there for sale in the United States. And then they took the money and bought weapons and took them back to the Contras, all of which was illegal.
Now, let's talk about it. Again, cognitive dissonance and delusion and the propaganda we all fell for. What she's talking about right now, Tom Cruise actually made a movie about it. Yes, Tom Cruise made a movie about it where he played the individual who worked for the CIA running the drugs. He was an airplane pilot from Louisiana. Yes, there's a movie about it starring Tom Cruise. And oddly enough, the patch of land that she's talking about was owned by Billy Kount Klinton that he let knowingly this individual use to run his international drug ring. But let's let her finish.
As you know, under the Bowling Act. But tell me, did they tell you that this had to be in existence because of national security?
Well, let me answer the question. No, they didn't tell me anything about it. They didn't say anything to me about it. The airport in question and all the events in question were the subject of state and federal inquiries. It was primarily a matter for federal jurisdiction. The state really had next to nothing to do with it. The local prosecutor did conduct an investigation based on what was within the jurisdiction of state law. The rest of it was under jurisdiction of the United States attorneys who were appointed successively by previous administrations. We had nothing, zero, to do with it, and everybody who's ever looked into it knows that.
Polk County Prosecutor Charles Blake, the man who initially attempted to investigate the Mena, Arkansas criminal activities, would surely take exception to Mr. Clinton's assertion that, quote, the local prosecutor did conduct an investigation based on what was within the jurisdiction of the state law, end quote. In fact, it was Blyke who went directly to then Governor Clinton to seek funding for his investigation, seeing as how rural Polk County lacked the financial resources to deal with the CIA.
And when it became apparent that nothing was going to be done on the federal level, that's when I began more actively pursuing it.
Prosecutor Black, a Clinton supporter, met with the governor and handed him a letter requesting money for a state grand jury on Mina.
His response to me was that he would get a man, something to the effect that he would get a man on it and would get word back to me. And I never heard back.
Years later, Clinton said he offered $25,000 to Prosecutor Black's boss to fund a grand jury. But Charles Black and his boss claim they never heard about any offer of money from Governor Clinton.
I believe Bill Clinton's an honest, respectable man, and I have to believe that he did that. But the fact is, I never got that word myself.
Blyke?
Delusion, and cognitive dissonance. Well, I'd have to believe that Mr. Clinton's a good man. He just sent it and I never got it.
One unusual aspect of living in the Arkansas governor's mansion was getting to know prison inmates who were assigned to work in the house and the yard. When we moved in, I was told that using prison labor at the governor's mansion was a long-standing tradition that kept down costs, and I was assured that the inmates were carefully screened. Now, I had defended several clients in criminal cases, but seeing them in jail or in court was not the same as encountering a convicted murderer in the kitchen every morning. I was apprehensive.
Oh, you didn't want those super predators running amok in your domicile. Yet you did absolutely nothing to stop the slave labor that you and your husband, then governor of Arkansas, enjoyed at the taxpayers' expense. But again, cognitive dissonance and delusion that we have all fell victim to, which is propaganda. But let's continue. And we'll close out here with this little morsel of a nugget of truth. But I want you to pay attention to the expression on this man's face as he reminisces of all the fun that he had on the Lolita Express and Epstein Island.
Hours of closed-door congressional questioning, former President Bill Clinton repeatedly gave similar answers about some of his encounters with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, first reported by CNN.
I have no recollection of it, but it could have happened.
He said he didn't remember the details when House Oversight Committee investigators asked about a series of reported encounters with Maxwell over more than a decade.
Charity gala in New York, dinner at a New York City restaurant, co-hosted a fundraiser for Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign, co-hosted a fundraiser for your presidential library,
and even international trips. One of the most detailed exchanges involved a July 2002 trip to Morocco for the wedding of King Mohammed VI.
Do you recall whether Mr. Epstein and Miss Maxwell also attended that wedding?
Do you, sir? Well, Mr. Clinton.
I don't. I remember, I think Chelsea went with me. I remember the wedding very well and all the stuff that happened, but that's all. I don't remember the coming or the going.
Yet Epstein's private photographs released by the Justice Department show photos with Clinton, Maxwell, and Epstein labeled Clinton Morocco and Morocco King Wedding. Flight records from Epstein's private jet list Clinton on board after the reception, and according to two sources formerly close to Clinton, Epstein and Maxwell were there as guests of the former president who left the event on Epstein's plane. A photo obtained by CNN shows Clinton and his daughter Chelsea with Epstein and Maxwell at a smaller reception, which, according to sources, was reserved for dignitaries and close associates of the king. Clinton was also questioned about Maxwell receiving recognition at a 2013 Clinton Global Initiative conference for her now-defunct ocean conservation project. Clinton said he remembered that event, but described it as routine.
The fact that she was recognized was not particularly remarkable.
Do you have any personal role in Ms. Maxwell's recognition?
This nigga lying.
Or would
No,
that have
I
been...
might have been in her room by the time she got it.
CNN previously reported Maxwell was listed among those recommended for complimentary access to the conference, a list that, according to a source familiar with it, indicated Maxwell's access was personally approved by either Bill or Hillary Clinton. What makes this notable is the timing. By 2013 and 2014, Maxwell had already been publicly accused in court filings, interview, and major media reports of helping Epstein recruit and abuse underage girls. Epstein had already served time in jail in 2008 after pleading guilty in Florida to charges related to soliciting sex from a minor. Despite the reports, Clinton said there was a simple explanation.
He's still hanging out with a close associate, the closest associate to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
But,
Excuse me.
I guess my question is why?
there's a logical explanation we didn't know. I don't remember.
He was already convicted in 2014, sir. And you were the former president of the United States of America, which means you get daily briefings of everything that's going on. Here and internationally, you're gonna tell me that I wasn't on any of those reports ever? You telling me that the nigga that you was hanging out with, that was out there busting youngins' chops open, and you didn't know? Liar. Allegedly, of course, because I enjoy my life, and we know how the kill count Clintons give it up. So yeah, I'm gonna sign out on this episode of Delusion and Cognitive Dissonance and the propaganda that we all continue to fall for. Part We Ain't Keeping Count, the Kill Count Clinton edition. And on that note, I'm gonna sign out of here. Realize, and transparency forces accountability. Keep your eyes to the stars and that head on a swivel, cause we're in the diabolical den of demons, aka the Viper's Pit. Y'all stay dangerous out there, cause it's a dirty game.